Hello and welcome to Wolfcast, episode 17.
Technology.
Technology. Ugh, I have a dog
Knowledge.
under my feet, under my desk. Castiel, you're going to make this really hard. You're sitting right there, buddy.
And he doesn't care.
He doesn't care. He's just looking at me like, what? I sit here all the time. You know that.
This is my spot.
He used to as a puppy. He would sit there underneath my feet and he'd sit underneath my feet, underneath my desk for hours and be like, Mommy, I love you. And then he stopped doing it, and I don't know why he stopped doing it. And then just recently he started doing it again, where he'll be underneath my desk and sleeping either next to me under the left side of my desk or under my desk as he is now, with me trying to do art and stuff.
A fun fact. We couldn't bring you this podcast without technology.
Right, we couldn't. It would be physically impossible to do that.
And technology is also ancient.
It's super ancient.
Like, people think, oh yeah, technology, science, and energy, and electricity, and look at my cell phone, and all this other stuff, when in all reality, when humans first invented the wheel, that was technology. It was technology of the time.
Yeah.
When we started using spears as weapons, that was technology.
Yeah.
When we went, hey, when I smash this rock against this rock and make fire, it was technology. It was just...
Yeah, like, what was it, 33.3 million years ago? The first technology was tools.
Yeah.
Like, 3.3 million years ago, we created tools, and that's the first step in our advancement of technology.
Now we got fucking smartphones that can yell at us whenever we do something.
And artificial intelligence.
Yeah, we have AI.
Robots, so.
My phone wakes me up.
I'm pretty sure most people's phones wake them up.
I meant like, I don't have an alarm clock. Some people still use those.
My dad, and we had this for years, had that old time, and a lot
Everyone
of people,
had that
will have that
clock.
old brown little small square rectangular box. Always had the
Mhm.
My dad
Yeah.
had one of those for years.
I set mine to whenever the alarm was going off, it would turn on the oldies rock, or not just the oldies channel. And let me tell you, in high school, nothing was funnier than that time I woke up to "It Always Feels Like Somebody's Watching Me." And I'm like, oh god, not what I want to hear at 5 in the morning.
I
Not
get my
today.
privacy. Ooh, I always feel like.
And what's really fucked up about technology, so
I left my water in the kitchen.
yeah, you said that 40 minutes ago.
I know,
and
but
you
I went
still
up to,
haven't
no, I
gotten
went
it.
up to go get it, and I still left it in the damn kitchen.
Yeah. What's fucked up, I don't know the exact dates of it, but when we went to the moon for the first time,
It's like 19. It was 1960 something. My dad was born in 64, I think. 63, 64, and it was like 60 something.
right, so when we went to the moon for the first time, successfully, and when airplanes were first invented, those events are only 60 years apart, I think.
69.
69 was
Okay.
the thing, and when did the brothers do their thing?
God, forever ago.
No, it wasn't.
It was
No, it wasn't.
1903.
Yeah, so they were literally 66 years apart.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
From the time that the airplane was first invented to the moon landing was only 66 years. And that is insane advancement in technology.
We'll see, and back to simple technology, a funny thing is, like, they also consider the first person to make fire technology.
Yes.
And, like, that was a million years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So, fire!
And fire was essentially the start of where we got to technology now.
Yeah,
Through
steam.
fire, we got steam, we got heat. A lot of things just used fire in general as fuel to power things.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if they hadn't have discovered fire a million years ago, we wouldn't have half the shit we have now.
Yeah. But let's be nerdy real quick, because, We're all nerds. We gotta learn stuff.
Let's
So
quote the internet real quick.
shut up. See the abuse I go through? So mean to me.
Yeah, suffer.
Technology. Technology is the application of scientific knowledge for practical purposes, especially in industry. Or it's machinery and equipment developed from the application of scientific knowledge, or it's the branch of knowledge dealing with engineering or applied sciences.
Yeah.
Yay, technology ruining things.
No,
Well, no.
it's not. Technology doesn't necessarily ruin things.
No, so we're learning things.
Oh, learning things. I don't know. I see people that say, "Oh, technology is ruining today's children," or "Oh, technology is ruining the world," and it's like, in a way, yes, it's ruining things. If you look at it that way, change is good. Kids aren't reading books anymore. No, they're reading books on their phones now.
Change is good, yeah, but it still hurts. Well,
Like, yeah, it's. You can bitch about advancement in technologies. It ain't gonna change nothing.
I mean, they did the same thing back in the day, like how they were complaining about how everybody's always looking down at their phones. But if you look at a train station back in the 30s and 40s, everyone's got their face down in
Well, and people bitched
newspapers.
about that. They were like, these
Yeah.
people will never look up from their newspapers.
So it's always I think it's going to be always a battle of this.
The previous generation bitching about technology to the current generation. I'm sure we'll do it too at some point.
Right.
I mean, I do it already. My nieces and nephews are always on their phone. And I'm like, seriously, 5 fucking minutes. Like, get off your phone. Am I old?
Kind of. Aren't you
Fuck
on your
you.
phone a lot?
I'm always on my phone.
There you go.
Yeah,
But they're
it's-
fucking 9 and 7. They don't need to be on their phones. Go have imaginations.
All right, go outside and play. That's how I am. I'm very go out.
Yeah, that time's almost done, especially with VR taking the advancements that it is.
Yeah.
We'll eventually get to a point where we don't need to go outside. We won't need to leave the house.
It's Minecraft VR.
You do Minecraft VR, you can work out in VR. About the only thing you can't do in VR is eat. And actually gain nourishment.
And drink.
Yeah, I don't consider drink because I don't drink that much anyway, unless it's alcohol.
But to say you better amend that real quick.
But yeah, aside from what you can
Start
sleep.
working in VR.
You can work in VR. Well, they're working on where you can work in VR. They're essentially gloves that you would have at home hooked up to a computer. And your gloves that you are wearing would power a machine in a building probably miles away or right down the road, depending. And you would wear a headset basically giving you a virtual picture of what's around you so you can see. Basically cameras and robotic technology. So yeah, eventually we'll be to a point where we don't even have to leave house for work.
That's fucked.
Me personally, I don't see it as fucked. I think it's cool. I can't wait. I hope I live long enough to see the world like that. But at the same time, I don't leave my house much anyway. I leave it for work, and I hate leaving it for work.
I think most people just like, having to leave for work.
Yeah. And it's like once I'm home, I'm home. I don't like leaving again. So if I could wake up, walk downstairs, boot up my computer, put on my VR headset and hands and work from home, fuck yeah. All day.
I wouldn't do that. I hate going to work as much as the next person, but at the same time, I don't want to be in my house for 24/7.
Yeah.
It bothers me.
And that's where VR headset comes in, because you can be home, but your eyes are, I don't know, in Maine. Checking out whatever the fuck's in Maine.
The rains in Maine.
Like VR chat, I still walk into worlds in VR chat that they're just phenomenal to look at. They're based off of real locations.
Mm-hmm.
I seen you when you were streaming VR the other day. Looked fucking kind of cool.
That's just it's the club thing that I do on Fridays. We get in there, we pour alcoholic beverage, sit there and bullshit, drink, party out. It's like we're at a club, but we're not at a club, and we're not paying money to drink.
I mean, you did, but
Yeah, but we're not at the moment.
yeah.
I'm going, yeah, pour me another one, me, and I don't pay $10 for the glass.
Or it's like with the advancements of technology of how we've come from like you said, from the moon and all that jazz. How back in my grandma's age, they always thought by this time of the year, like in 2020s and such, that we'd have flying cars and such.
We're getting there.
We're getting there.
As a matter of fact, there was a company that just announced their Tru flying car.
Yeah, it looks like flying cars could be commercially available in 2024.
For $150,000 is what they were pricing them at, if I read the article correctly.
I'll have to double check it. But yeah. But what's funny is that that wasn't the actual the first thought of doing flying cars was what, 1917.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. It was called the Curtiss airplane because the creator was called Glenn Curtiss. But yeah, it was a little aluminum auto plane, and it had 3 wings that spanned 40 feet or 12.2 meters, and the car's motor drove a 4-bladed propeller at the rear end of the car.
I don't think it ever got off the ground.
I don't know.
I almost want to say it blew up. I'm looking at a picture of it, and I would almost say this motherfucker blew up.
No, it doesn't say much better. It failed.
Okay, was it a catastrophic failure, or just did it never reach that point?
The car's motor drove. Let's see.
Blades.
It never truly flew, but it managed a few short hops.
He made a bunny car.
He made a bunny car. So that's and what's funny is that the thing with flying cars, the one issue is going to be air, because with how the air is so highly guarded because of your military and your airspace and stuff like that.
It wouldn't be that difficult.
Yes, it would.
No, it wouldn't. You just give civilians access to the same flight records that air pilots have.
No, not that. It's just how would you because you see movies like, what is it, Fifth Element, where they have flying cars and stuff like that, and they have all that. But think about that. If you get an accident in the sky, ends up crashing down, it's going to cause so much more problems. But also, how would you traffic air?
You don't. That's why people want flying cars.
They would still have to traffic it.
No, you wouldn't.
There would have to be a law at some point where there's cops up there.
Oh,
It would have to. There would, because there'd be more accidents than anything.
Not necessary.
And we would all probably have to get a new license. We'd all have to probably get some kind of flying license.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You probably have a good amount of training to.
Yeah, it won't be. I went to the BMV and spent 2 hours and got my license. It would be I went to the BMV and spent 2 days taking this test and receiving proper training. That's what it would be. I don't think there would.
Hard.
I don't think there would need to be traffic per se. Because in all honesty, when you try to organize that, that's when you're going to start having issues. If you try to make everybody go into a straight line in a vast open area like the sky, you'll cause chaos from order. Whereas if you just let everybody do their thing, and with proper training and certification, it'd be fine. Obviously, you'd have rules like don't fly too close to buildings, don't fly over this zone. But outside of that, you wouldn't need order.
No, you'd still, because there's the idiots out there that are.
Oh yeah, but there's idiots everywhere, no matter what.
You're gonna have to move, dog. I gotta go check up the potatoes.
Yeah, they're boiling.
I know, I hear it.
But I just don't think you're gonna need to be like, yeah, stay in your lane. When you're not going to need to stay in your lane. You have the entire sky.
The sky is my lane.
Yeah, yes, we're going to need flying ambulances. We're not going to need, funny enough, we're not going to need flying fire trucks. Because if the vehicle's on fire, it's probably not in the air anymore. And with flying cop cars, you're going to need those. And you'll almost not have to worry about commercial airliners.
I don't think the cars are going to be able to get that high.
Well, you don't have to fly 30,000 feet in the air.
True.
No, I just mean like I don't think they're gonna be like. I think it's gonna be one of those things where at first
It's gonna
they're
be
only
like
gonna
hover
be
cars,
yeah
like
that, and
10 feet
then
off the ground.
maybe like 100 feet off the ground. I don't think it because then it's gonna be to the point where you're gonna have to have like either like some kind of like hood over or something or like oxygen tanks or something stupid. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, if you get because you're still even if you get a certain height above the air, you're
think
still
it's hard
gonna
to
have to
breathe.
have some form of oxygen to keep you from getting hypoxia, and
Well, that being said, if I'm flying my car, I'm not flying the height of the Empire State Building or Mount Everest.
but you might have to fly high up in this Empire State Building so you don't hit the damn thing.
Go around it. If I'm in a flying car, I should be able to not only see the fucking thing, but also have enough maneuverability, unlike a commercial airliner that has to take time to turn to avoid something.
Yeah, but if you think about if you have other cars there, you don't know which way they're going. So if they're both going different directions, you'd have to have some.
I'd like to introduce you to the dock at Ison.
True.
We don't communicate. We don't have turn signals. You know what we are doing the entire time? No, we're
Beep.
watching each other.
Beep.
Now, that being said, we're only going 4 miles an hour, and when we hit each other, we're like, oops. Then we go about our day. Sorry about that. Yeah, whatever. I didn't see it. Yep, later. Here I go.
Here we go.
You can have order without order. If you leave people to their own devices, they eventually learn.
True.
It's just whether or not you want to be patient and get to that point. Which is why we have laws.
Good old laws.
Yeah. So I think the biggest issue is you'll have people that'll buy a flying car and then be dumb enough to fly into the airspace of Area 51. And then they get a missile shot at them for flying over restricted space. then you'll have problems then.
Right.
But that's why I think with flying cars, people would need to get that knowledge that airplane pilots have of when they're flying over restricted space.
That's another thing with technology and such with that is that look at our military advancement weapon wise. We've gone from spearheads and stones and stuff like that to fully automated, heat guided or, coordinate guided
HOTAS.
missiles.
Or not, yeah, you can use their HOTAS systems, and you have what is it? There are a bunch of terms for tank armaments and shit.
I apologize for the stop and drawing right now. I'm trying to cook dinner.
But it is nutty how far we make it in technology when it comes to military. It's also nutty to remember we have cell phones now. As I say that, and I say it that way because the military has had cell phone much longer than the civilian population has. Most of the technology that civilians get access to has already been in the military for years. It's just how it works. They use it in the military, then they don't need it anymore, so they give it to the people, so they can keep producing it and keep making money.
Yeah.
It's just nutty to think about. I mean, you look at mocap suits, those are your precursors for VR headsets. Because it allowed you to control a 3D generated avatar in a 3D space. The only difference is now it's, instead of having to draw the 3D character after the fact of recording the movements, you can go into VR chat and just have a fucking character ready to go. And it follows your movements through motion capture. We've been using motion capture technology in cinema for years. And now I have motion capture technology in my house right now. Through VR. Yeah, the Xbox Kinect did it. The Wii did it. I think the Wii U did it. It's just nutty to remember that this technology we're getting, it's new to us. It is not new as a whole.
I will tell you, though, I know it, and a thing with, and this is, it's not harping on millennials because I am one,
Yes, you are.
but
Don't you forget it.
technology itself kind of screwed us back in the 90s because it advanced so fast from 1990 all the way to, the teens that it screwed us.
How so?
Because, okay, so you remember, we had just gotten the internet,
Uh-huh.
went from cassette to CDs,
Uh-huh.
from CDs to iPods.
Uh-huh.
Well, iPods, it wasn't an iPod yet, but the
MP3 player.
yeah,
MP3s,
MP3
yeah.
player, and we went from like it, and I think towards the end of it, it went straight to like a bit more like smarter phones. In that 10 years,
Mm-hmm.
technology advanced so fast, a lot of us couldn't keep up with it. I couldn't.
Oh yeah, I couldn't either. I was too poor to care.
Well, that and it's like for me, it's like I
I'm
still.
sorry.
It's true. I was I was just as bad.
It's like
It's
everybody had the iPod Nano and the iPod Touches, and I'm sitting over here with my Walkman MP3 going, huh, okay.
yeah,
Ah,
it's like
you have to pay for your shit.
Yeah.
I just have to get mine off of LimeWire.
right. Well, no, and it screws because there are times now I'm like with my computer, like if something happens, like I still don't know how to hook up my computer properly. I'm like, honey, help me.
So I think I agree with you to a point. Those who were able to afford it and experience it as it happened didn't get screwed over as hard as those with families who couldn't afford to advance.
Speaking of computers,
What's up?
you might get a call Tuesday
Why?
because I'm moving my room around.
Don't
Help
drop
me!
anything.
I won't drop anything. It just, where does this go? Ah, that goes right. I know you got it.
Just
Anyways.
connect the cord.
Actually, if you want a really good idea, take a picture of the back of your
Yeah.
stuff, Holden. That or
Yeah.
Alpha. That way you know.
With my technology phone.
Yep.
Yes. But that was the thing. It's like I had the original Xbox when everybody else was on the Xbox 360. By the time I got the Xbox 360, Black Ops 2 and Modern Warfare 3 had already came out.
I think you had a 360 before I did. Maybe.
I don't know. I remember getting an original Xbox and I was so happy to have it because I could play Halo for the first time. I was a freshman in high school, so this would have been 2009, 2008. But I'd been able to play Halo, and then the Xbox 360 came out, and I was still playing on my original Xbox up until Modern Warfare 3 and Black Ops 2 came out.
What would be? I don't know if she can hear me.
Yeah, she's wearing her headset.
What is like one of your favorite things from back then to now that's evolved over time?
Tamagotchi.
Yeah, it's called having children.
The
The hardcore version of Tamagotchi. The kind of if you kill it, you go to jail.
I only paid $5 for my Tamagotchi. But yeah, mine's still fucking paying.
Hmm. Trying to think. You're making it hard. Quit it.
She said.
Shut the fuck up, Alpha.
He said. He said. So I don't know.
I think I have two actually. One would be to see how far, because for me, the computer was new. Like the fact that we had internet and everything like that. So that was pretty cool for me. And to see how far now that it's advanced, like there's some stuff on my computer. I'm like, I don't know how this works. Or it's like I'll talk with my dad, like, it's too smart for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second one is phones. Because when I had a phone, it was a brick. It was your 1980s looking brick cell phone.
Oh, the big motherfucker that was like two of our phones put together.
And then we had
my phone
one.
glowed and had Snake on it.
Yes!
That was my first phone.
Yeah.
Yes!
But just that, from where we came from, the 80s brick to basically a little itty bitty miniature computer in our hands.
Yeah.
You won't have calculators in your pocket when you're in the real world. Fuck you, teacher.
Yes, I do right here.
Get off your phone. I am doing math.
They'll do that to me at work because I sometimes have to do math to calculate weight or to make, if we're doing inventory, it'll be to calculate a cube quantity. And I'll have my phone out and be like, you can't have that out. I'm like, calculator.
I think one of mine, or a couple of mine, would be how far we've gone with like from VHS to to
Blu-ray.
to DVD players to Blu-rays to you can watch movies on your gaming devices to now you have a streaming app and on your smart TVs or whatever.
Right.
Yes, I don't really care for. I mean, I have most of the streaming apps, but they still piss me off because you have to pay to watch certain things. But I think it's cool that you have this like brick fucking VHS and you had to rewind it. Now you pop the DVD in and it just plays from
Unless
the beginning.
unless you had one of those weird ass DVDs that would always start up at the end wherever you left off, like it remembered where you left
Yeah,
off.
yeah, I remember that. But
I
then I
didn't.
have like these streaming services that kind of do the same thing too. If you've left off halfway through, it's still there. But it's just crazy how far that's came
Those old
because I'm
DVD
a big
players.
movie guy.
Those old DVD players pissed me off because they'd be like, "All right, well, I want to rewatch this." Pops it out of its case, puts it in the DVD player. It's already on the end credits. I'm like, "What? I didn't know I had to rewind my disc."
Or where you would hit the open button and you go put the disc in for somehow fucking reason it would start closing. You're like, wait!
You took too long because it's on a timer. But yeah, and then it grabs the disc from you and breaks it, and you're like, "Oh," or it doesn't open anymore.
Yeah.
So you take a knife to it and pry the front plate off and fucking pull that bitch out yourself.
And then you two both touched on my other topics. I was gonna say about gaming, how like you have the Xbox, and then how it's getting now, and how advanced gaming is, just period. Whether it's a PC or Xbox.
It's
or
nuts
PlayStation.
how gaming has came, because my first console that I would consider mine was a Nintendo 64.
Mine was the Sega.
After that, I went and got a PlayStation 1. I got a
I think
PlayStation
Sega was
2.
mine.
And, we've gone up to what we are at now. My first handheld was the old school, completely gray, no blacklit screen, no color screen Game Boy.
Pocket?
No, this thing didn't fit in your pocket.
You know what's funny? My first handheld that I actually ever had was a DS.
Really?
Yeah, because that's the one that either I had bought or my ex had bought, but that was the first time I ever actually had a handheld gaming system.
You look at the original Game Boy, and then the original Game Boy changed to the Game Boy Pocket. No backlit screen still, but it was smaller.
Then Game Boy Color.
And then you had the Game Boy Color. No backlit screen yet, but everything was in color, and it was real pretty. And you could buy the attachment that plugged into the side that gave you a light. Drained the fuck out of your batteries, but it worked.
Then what was it? The
Game Boy Advance, which also still didn't have a blacklit screen in its earlier models, but that little third attachment that you plugged into your Game Boy Color worked on the Advance. Then, after the Advance, you had the Game Boy Advance SP. We are finally on backlit screens.
Is that the one that folded open?
Yep, it was the first fold one. You could fold it closed and fold it open. Then after that, we went to the Nintendo DS.
I had the Pocket, Color, Advance, SP. I didn't have the original DS. I had the second version.
The DS Lite.
The 2DS.
Oh, so you skipped an entire side. Because it went the original DS, and then you had the DS Lite, which was just the original DS, but it was smaller.
But I only had the 2DS to play X or Y, which whenever I got.
Gotcha. The only handhelds that I have never owned would be the PSP variants.
I never had one either.
No, I didn't have that.
And then I never buy the XL versions of DSs. I don't want a bigger DS. These things are meant to fit in my fucking pocket.
I didn't have the 3DS either.
Well, a 2DS is a 3DS. It's just...
No, there was a 3. I thought there was a third
Yeah,
version.
3DS.
There's the 2DS and the 3DS, which are the exact same thing. The only difference is between them is...
folded.
Yeah,
No.
the 3DS folded. The 2DS was this.
No. The difference between the 2DS and... No. The difference between
Your
the
2DS was a fucking miniature tablet.
Yeah.
No. The difference between the
And
2DS
then the
and
Switch.
3DS was that the 3DS had a button where when you flipped it, it actually made...
2DSs had that too.
No. You had it that and you flipped it, and it made the actual picture come out more like 3D. That's why it was called a 3DS.
2DSs had that too.
No, it didn't.
The only difference, I'm telling you, the only difference between a 3DS and a 2DS is this your Switch right here, your Switch Lite that you have looks almost identical to a 2DS.
But a 2DS didn't have the ability to have 3D pop out. That's why the 3DS did.
The one I looked at did. It was right here on the bottom. I flipped it and the screen raised.
That's the wrong thing then, because that's why it's a 3DS. It's 3D.
I want to say the 3DS was out before the 2DS, and the 2DS was just a cheaper option. And then you had the 3DS XL, which was just the 3DS but bigger.
Switch is probably my favorite out of any. Well, no,
Eh,
because I really enjoyed the Game Boy Color.
yeah,
'Cause
it's
it was just
cool
a
that you
big
can.
jump because you got color.
It's cool that you can get the old Game Boy games on Switch.
Yeah.
Some of them, not all of them, but you can get them, and that's pretty cool. The backwards compatibility that we're getting into. 'Cause before it was, you know, you got a Nintendo 64, you can't play your Sega cartridges on it. And then you went into the PlayStation era, and you had the PlayStation 1, which could only play PlayStation 1 games. But then you had the PS2. If you bought the original PS2, you could play your PS1 games on it.
That was the best feature of it.
Yep. And you got the PS3, which could play PS2 games and some PS1 games. I want to say the PS4 on release didn't have any backwards compatibility on it.
What was the system that Pokemon Stadium came out on?
That was the Nintendo 64, and yeah, the Nintendo 64, because the GameCube got Pokemon Coliseum.
I think that was my first console that I ever had myself. I had to share my Sega with my brother.
Right.
Unless you count the Game Boy Pocket and stuff
No,
as like
that's a
console.
handheld. I don't. It's a handheld console. I just call them handhelds. I keep them separate. Anymore though, I think with how far gaming technology is going, consoles are going to be obsolete, or they're going to be just computers. Your Xbox will be a computer that is branded for Microsoft.
I don't know. You still have your hardcore PC master race and console gamers.
Well, the reason I say that is because if you look at the what are we on, PS5 right now? Alpha?
Wait, what?
Are we on the PS5 right now, or
Yes, PS5.
and Xbox One S?
I couldn't tell you what the fucking Xbox is.
So we're
It's
on
like
these newer
Xbox Series-
consoles.
Xbox Series X, I think.
Okay. So we're on these new consoles, and the specs for these new consoles are basically your computer right now, dear. Everything that's in these gaming consoles is what's in your computer right now.
Hmm.
Except they got a terabyte of hard drive space. And you don't.
PC's better, it's just more expensive than the.
Well, and it's interesting to see that consoles are going this route. We're eventually going to get to a point where your console isn't a console anymore. It's
Well, isn't
just a
there even an
PC.
Xbox that flips open and has the fucking monitor on it? Like it was like a custom made one?
I know there was a third-party thing you could buy that you put your Xbox into it, and it was a case. You put your Xbox in it, plugged everything up, and then when you opened the case, it had a screen in it. So your Xbox sat in it, the screen was in it, and all that shit. That was for the 360, though. They probably made one for the One and Series X, probably. But I think that with the way consoles are going, because of it, I think we're going to get to a point where VR will take over gaming. Having a
I just don't know
controller.
how I feel about playing Call of Duty or like Fortnite or something like that in VR.
So
I
there
mean,
is.
look at the movie Gamer with Gerard Butler,
Mhm.
where they had to earn their freedom through.
Oh, yeah.
But they were controlled by a person essentially.
I don't think
in
it's going to
almost
go
VR.
that far. I'd like to think it doesn't go that far because that brings in a whole lot of like personal space and shit. What is a human being if you could just be controlled?
Well, no, I mean not saying like that directly, but like
Moral.
that form of technology is what I'm talking about. Not like the actual controlling a human being, because that's just movie.
Even Fang made a good point a couple podcasts back about how like just put us in a video game and that's how we settle war.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
I'd
do
go,
it in
I'd
VR.
I'd go to war if I could do it in VR. You'd have no casualties, and the only thing you have to pay for is internet.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, maybe if you're going to war, that's something they pay for.
Yeah. They pay for your rig. They pay for your setup. And you use that setup to fight the enemy on a virtual ground. And that's it. You cut costs, you save lives, boom. War has changed.
War never changes.
But that's I think honestly that's the direction when they get VR headsets less buggy, more readily available, and you get systems that can run it properly. I'm fairly certain in the future VR will take over gaming. And we'll look at Xbox controllers and PlayStation controllers as relics of a past that no longer exists.
Well, then how are they going to solve the issue with people like you? Like, I know there are some people that get motion sickness in VR.
Games already have a solution for that in their settings. If you go into a game and you go to start moving and you get motion sick because of it, you can go into settings and there is a motion sickness control slider which lowers the amount of motion blur and overall motion you make. And then they also have a setting to where your thumbstick doesn't move you. You have to hold the thumbstick forward, aim at a location, and it'll teleport you instantly. So you don't move. It gets rid of motion sickness. So they've already fixed that. And you can also play games sitting down. There is a sitting standing mode most games have. You tell the game you are sitting and it adjusts accordingly.
Need a VR headset.
Yeah. I need to get a new fucking left hand for mine because it's got fucking stick drift.
They should be able to fix that, I think.
I don't think there's a fix for it. I think I just have to buy a new fucking controller. Ow.
No, even you said slam it down.
No.
Not with a VR controller.
Not with a VR controller. That thing's likely to break.
Oh, you breathe on it wrong.
Yeah. It's expensive.
I will say the one thing about technology that I'm disappointed with is that there's certain ways that technology has come that could be done better.
Oh, yeah.
But people themselves are so stuck in their own ways or stuck in their own thoughts of how things should be done that they refuse to advance or change it.
You can't refuse change. Yes, technology can be scary. The shit that we can do with it can be terrifying. But it can also help. If we get to a point where we can inject nanites into a person's body and kill cancer.
Then Big Pharma would be out of money, though.
But it's still a good thing.
Yeah, but Big Pharma will want their money, so they want to do it.
So they charge $1 million for the nanites. Problem solved. That's how they do that. Big Pharma takes care of the nanites. They charge you $50,000 for an injection, and then you're cured. But it still helps.
Yeah.
Advancements in technology will help. Now, if we get to the point where what May is drawing right now, which is full dive gear from an anime called Sword Art Online, I would love for VR to be at that point where I can lay down and it's almost like I'm put into a trance-like state. And my mind, my sight receptors, my hearing, my sense of touch, all of that gets transferred digitally into a world. And it feels like I am actually there. That being said, for those who haven't seen Sword Art Online, I don't want what happens in that anime to happen.
That almost seems like a Matrix kind of thing.
It kind of would be. You know, you put the headset on, you're in a digital world. You take the headset off, you're no longer in the digital world.
Living in a digital world.
But what happens in Sword Art Online is they load into Sword Art Online using their full dive gear, and the person who created the game removes the logout option, so they can never be removed from the game. And then he sets it up to where if their headset is removed while they are playing the game, that microwave radiation will fry them. So it gets a little touchy in that anime, and that's the part that I don't want, but I would love a full dive rig. That shit would be fucking cool.
Yeah. Wouldn't even have to fucking just yeah, you said it. Just fucking not even roll out of bed, just like roll over, grab it, fucking put it on.
Boom, you're in a virtual world.
You're playing video games.
Yeah. Or you're seeing Italy just in VR.
It's like how in your VR, your little main home planet, like home world.
Oh, you're talking
area.
about the Oculus Home?
Oh my god, it's so gorgeous.
Yes, it is. It's out in the mountains, big open space surrounded by woods.
It's so
Your
pretty.
your significant other's like, I want to go on vacation here. Now I want to go on like a real vacation. I am here.
Why?
We just saved money.
You want to go to Oregon? Put this on. Boom.
Oregon Trail, anybody?
No.
No! That dysentery 4 times!
That's
That's growing up doing that as a kid, doing the Oregon Trail, thinking, wow, this is so cool. And
all it was a couple of pixels on a screen,
right.
on a little 4x4 screen, and you're like, yeah.
Or it's like back on the thing with computers, it's like the very first computer was ginormous.
It took up an entire room, and now they're tiny. You can get a computer that's the size of your hand. I mean, our phones are computers.
And little tiny floppy disks.
Yeah, discs.
What's
Oh,
funny,
my heart.
and people are like, I don't know what a floppy disk is. I'm like, sure you do. You see that little save little icon that's in most of your text documents? That's a floppy disk.
Yep, and you want to know the best part about floppy disks?
Hmm.
Most of them, unless you spent big money, let's say you spent $30 on a floppy disk. That floppy disk can hold a whole 6 gigs.
Yeah.
And that was a lot back in the day.
Of course, now 6 gig is just like...
6 gigs is... I downloaded this JPEG off of Google. There goes my hard drive.
That's one thing I'm sad to see going is like Java and stuff like that.
Java isn't needed anymore.
My
I miss
this runs
the
off
old
Java.
I miss the old AOL chat.
Yes.
Uh,
Oh my god, I had so much fun in those. Like, I loved doing the role playing rooms. They were great.
of course you
Like,
did.
oh my god. And I would freak people out because I would play a male character, and someone's like, "Ew, you're playing a guy and you're a girl." I'm like, "Why? It's not hard."
Yeah, that's
Catfishing.
what he said.
No.
That and RuneScape was my shit back in the day.
I never
actually
played RuneScape.
It was so corny, but like with like where technology was and video games at that point in time, and if you had like a computer, it was like it was the game. It was like a role play miniature game. It was just so fun. I remember going to the library with a buddy of mine. We'd get off the bus and immediately just beeline it to the library. Well, you only get an hour. If no one else is here, you can sign in for another hour. We'd be there for like 4 or 5 hours just playing RuneScape.
That's a business that I think will go away. Libraries, as technology
Yeah, you could
advances.
fucking. I mean, right now you could read books online.
Yeah.
Who wants to go check out a fucking book at a library when you could just read it online? You don't really hear people reading books nowadays as much as they used to.
Yeah. It's because they're reading books. They're reading the books. They're just doing it on their phones, their tablets, their computers.
I don't know. I might be a reading purist. I like actually holding the book in my hand.
I like
Yeah.
holding the book, but nothing is more annoying than going to find a book that you want to read or reread, and wherever you're looking for doesn't fucking have it, and they have to order it for you. Whereas I could just pull up my phone and go, hey, Amazon's got a digital copy right now. Buy, read through Audible or whatever the fuck you want to read it through, and then bam.
Audible.com. Brought to you by
That's
Really
awesome.
Shut. Okay.
It's just one of them things where, yeah, holding a book is nice, but when I can't find the book that I'm wanting to read, I pull out my phone.
Well,
I
even
read on
then,
the
if
phone.
I can't find a book I can't read and I can find it online, I have to pay for it. I'm like, I don't want to pay to read a book.
You still have to pay regardless.
Not in libraries.
Yes. How did you get your library card?
You don't have to pay for a library
You
card.
can for free.
I thought you had to pay like $5 or $10 for a library card.
No,
No,
library
you
cards
just
are free.
sign up. You just go in there and you like put down your info and
No, you have to pay
get
for
it.
late fees, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
fuck that. I'm too irresponsible for that.
no duh.
It's
I
just
don't
like Redbox. You know, you pay your additional or you pay your like $2 or $3 to get a movie from Redbox, and then it's like $1 every day that it's late, and then eventually, if you're so late, they're like, oh, well, you've hit the max
Certain
days
thing.
late. You pretty much own this movie now.
Yeah. No, I'm surprised Redbox is still a thing.
It's not.
I have to.
There are a few Redbox kiosks, but they're getting removed. They're slowly going around and removing all Redbox.
So does anybody else remember when Netflix used to be CDs? I mean DVDs
Yeah.
that you would put in the
Yep.
mail?
Can you imagine wanting to watch a movie? You fucking order it, 3 days finally comes. You're like, I don't even know if I want to watch this right now.
It's amazing how we can do all this shit.
Mm-hmm. I think another thing with technology is medicine.
Yeah, medicine is taking a. We've come a long way from injecting people with mercury because we thought that was a good idea for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
I think we talked about that last podcast.
Mm-hmm.
But through CT scans and
Just the medical advances itself, just yeah. I'm sorry, Alpha, but I've given you some thick hips. Just thick. Sorry. Just that's a
not a feminine character.
just a damn.
I also like how we're
I'm
not in our chibis.
Even when I was fat, I didn't have a big ass.
Just me as a chibi, kind of. Spine's like
It's like Alpha and I are our full-fledged characters, and then May's in her chibi form in a jet propulsion car.
thick.
It's the best I've ever looked.
Just like ginormous pecs, just like
You need to get a VR set, Alpha, and join me in VR chat on a Friday night. Just have a blast.
I can honestly tell you that if I don't get one, I don't want to word this.
you're gonna bitch until you finally get one.
Well, I don't think I've actually bitched about it. Like, yeah, I want one, mainly for 3 reasons. One, because I've honestly always wanted one, but honestly just didn't think about doing it. 2, I think it'd be cool to join you in those like VR things, like the
Right.
club and stuff. And then also the boxing thing. Like, I honestly, when you told me, or not, I don't know if I think it was both of you. Oh, it's gonna be a workout. You're gonna be sore, and even May was like, "Don't overextend. You're gonna feel it." Nah, I won't. Da,
It's a
da, da, da.
game. It ain't gonna hurt that bad. It'll be like when I played on the
And then,
Wii all those years ago.
Nope.
yeah, and then like, but yeah, it'd be a nice thing to work out, and that's another reason why I'd want it. I would literally just hop in for about an hour, box every day, and that would be my workout.
Right. You got to be
Because
careful with when
even
you
at
get
your
it.
house, I was
Yeah.
sweating for a
Oh
bullet
yeah.
30 minutes in. But what I was getting at is that with COD right now, I'm enjoying this COD. So I've
It's a
been
good
grinding
one.
the hell up.
Right.
And then this week we get the Pokemon remasters, and then next month we get Halo. I don't want to have to like juggle. I'm terrible at juggling games. I want to
Right.
like enjoy and grind. I know you got. Oh, I don't know about May as much, but I know you could be like, oh, I'm just gonna play this one day, this that day. I like it grinding one game. So already with COD, Pokemon, and Halo, I'm gonna be like, So I think I probably honestly won't get a VR headset till either mid-December or tax time.
Well, you could get one sooner and like join me on
Just have it
Fridays.
I mean,
sit
hell,
here.
when Fang got his VR, there was a few months he didn't play it because he's just like,
The motion sick was getting me. It took me a hot minute of slowly getting into it to get rid of the motion sickness, and there'd be times that I'd load up into it and I couldn't play the game. So I'd be like, well, I'm not doing that today.
It's weird because when you did that tutorial with Scuba and
Uh-huh.
I felt the motion sickness, but anytime I've been in that boxing
It's
game,
because
I've not.
it's because that boxing game follows your in real life movement. You are moving in real life. The cameras on the headset is tracking that movement. So when you turn, your character turns. However, in VR chat, it doesn't do that. Well, it does it to an extent. So like if I were to walk from the living room across to the patio door, VR chat will register that and it'll move my character. But the worlds are bigger than my little 10 foot by 10 foot play space. So if I wanted to go further into the world, I have to move through Joy-Con using the stick on my controller. When you move with the stick, your body isn't moving. So your eyes are seeing that you're moving. Your brain goes, "We're moving," but your body isn't moving, and that's where motion sickness kicks in because your brain goes, "I don't like this."
But
The way I fixed it for myself is whenever I would start walking, I would walk in place.
excuse you, why are you?
I would move my feet up and down to simulate that I was walking.
Why? Why are you not? Are you seeing that? Like, I've calibrated this damn thing.
It might be out of calibration, or it could be because you're streaming that's causing a latency.
Un momento. I gotta remember how to. Technical difficulties. Hang on, I apologize. Another thing with technology as well is what I'm doing right here.
Yeah. You're calibrating a pin to draw on a 3D plane that isn't in real life.
I'll have to have Katie help me with that because it's not...
I still think it's latency based off of you streaming.
Maybe. No, I'm not referring to the calibration. I'm referring to art.
Oh.
Like how it's gone, and you still have your traditional artists that do it on pen and paper or oil and canvas, but you also have those that have just digital art. Like for me, it's like all I ever did was digital art, and then all I ever did was traditional art, and then I got this awesome thing from your mom, and just I've loved it ever since. And it's just just to see how that's come itself is phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
That's about it for today. We got 8 minutes, so we're at the hour. And I think what you could do, Alpha, is you could go, like, just as an example, later this week, you could go get a VR headset. Through the week, grind COD. Like, download the boxing game, download VR chat, download whatever grabs your attention, but you don't necessarily play them. Through the week, play COD. Fridays, join me in VR chat. Saturday, take a couple hours or an hour, play your boxing game, then hop back on the COD grind.
Mm-hmm.
So you could do the same thing when Pokemon comes out. Grind Pokemon for days until Friday, and then come drinking with me in VR chat. When Halo comes out, I'm going to be right there with you grinding it. We're probably going to beat that shit in 2 days.
Yeah, because when that comes out, all I want to do is really play the campaign, beat it. I want to try the Battle Royale out, but I'm not going to sit there and be like, grind it.
Right.
I want to say at least I tried it.
So that's how I think you could find that balance, is you could just go ahead, buy it, get it off your bucket list, get the shit done, still grind the games that you're wanting to play. Join me on Fridays. Because once Pokemon comes out, I'll probably be playing Diamond as well for a hot minute, except for on Fridays. Fridays are my drinking days. And even then, that Friday shit doesn't start until 8, 9 o'clock.
I wouldn't be able to join you.
Unless you want to go party with the European side. They start theirs at fucking 2 in the afternoon because it's like 9 p.m. for them then.
I wouldn't be able to join on a Friday, 9 o'clock at night.
Why?
Work.
I work Saturday morning.
Nah, fuck it. Call in.
No.
Yeah, fuck it. Come work with me.
I can't deal with you guys. Not how that works.
Exactly how that works. We still do shit on Saturdays sometimes too, but it's on Fridays when we get everybody. It's when the European side and the American side all come together and we drink and party out. On Saturdays, it's usually we all meet up in a hangout world and sit there and bullshit around. Or everybody gets on and goes to a private world and it's only who knows what they're doing in there.
Just shake my head at you. Well, let's go ahead and cut it there because I know I just got dinner finished up, and I know we're pretty much hungry on this side over here.
Fucking starving. Haven't eaten all day.
Honey,
Same.
I can't deal with you guys.
She doesn't feed us.
You don't
What-
have snack food. I don't like
ever.
cooking.
Anyway, please make sure you guys follow us on all of our socials. Please make sure you comment, like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for us. We really appreciate everything you guys do for us. You know, starting out, you know, just a few viewers to where we are now. So, episode 17, we're almost legal adults now until episode 18, and we'll
We
finally
can
be
go to
18.
we can go to war and can't smoke a drink though.
No.
Well, I can. The podcast can't.
Right.
But like I said, we love you. We appreciate you. Make sure you guys are making some smart choices.
Nah, fuck it.
Technology is awesome. So just make sure
Yeah,
you're using it for
That
good.
sucks too.
And we'll catch you on the next video, all right? So bye!
Later, peace.
Later.